This is the question. I'm going to write a program for this question. For example, display the employee number, hire date, number of months employed, 6 month review date, first Friday after hire date, and the last day of the hire month for all employees who have been employed for fewer than 200 months. Let's say your manager in the office has asked you to bring out this from the table, and I've shown you all the some of the date functions, and we'll use those date functions to answer this question. So the manager comes to you and say, give me a report that will carry the employee ID, employee number, hire date, number of months that the person has been employed, has been working, 6 month review, 6 month review date. Are you with me? 6 month review date. First Friday after hire date, and the last day of the hired month for all employees who have been employed for fewer than 200 months. Look at the request that your manager is making to you, and you have to write a script to bring this out. All I've been showing you were just the functions and what those functions do. Now we are going to face a real problem. So this is the problem that is in front of us. So I want to write the query to answer this question. Display employee number, hire date, number of months employed, 6 month review date, first Friday after hire date, and the last day of the hired month for all employees who have been employed for fewer than 200 months. Are you ready? Now, let's run this first one. This is our normal query. When we run it, it shows us everything. This is the employee table. So this is where we are going to get the answer to this problem. So we start. First thing, select, right? Select, display the employee number. So select employee ID, employee underscore ID, right? Comma, hire date. So we have hire date column. So type it, hired date, comma, number of months employed. Number of months employed. So now, when the manager gave you this assignment, he was expecting you to write this query to bring out the number of months employed from that date in which the assignment was given to you, right? Number of months employed. So each of these employees, all these employees that are here now, this one was employed since 2003, this one was employed since 2005, 2001, like that. From that their employment date till today, how many months would they have worked? Now I'm going to call a function, which is what? Month between. So I'm going to call month between. Month underscore between. Then I'll put in brackets number of months employed. So this employee now from, I will now say 6 date, which is today's date, right? Comma, higher date. I close my bracket. So I'll put comma. So that one has given me number of months employed. That will give me that. Month between 6 date, higher date. That will tell me number 6 month review date. Right? 6 month review date. That would be add month. This function, add month. 6 month review date would be that the person was employed, like this employee now, was employed in June 2003. So it will be on probation for 6 months. Now, what will be that date? What will be the date after 6 months? That is the 6 month review date. So that will be add month. I will call the add month function. Add month function, which is this add month, right? Then I will supply higher date, higher underscore date. This function is expecting date and integer. Then I'll put comma. So they say 6 months, so I'll put 6. And then I will close the bracket. And I can give it, it's going to give me this column. All of them will return all these columns that I'm using, this expression that I'm using. So let me leave it that way. I can come back and fine tune my script. First Friday after hire date, what will I use to get that one? So I'll put comma. Then I'll say next day. I'll call a function. That is it. Next day. This is the function that I showed you. Next day. So I'll say next underscore day. Right? And I'll supply. And what is it? First Friday. First Friday. So I'll supply higher date. Higher date. Comma. Since it is Friday that they are looking for, Friday is the date they're looking for. When the person was employed, like this person was employed 17 June 2003. I don't know what that date was, but the first Friday after this date is what they're asking for. So I'm going to put, because it's character, so I'll type Friday. I'll close it. That will give me for that first Friday after hire date, comma. Then I come here, and the last day of the hired month, you see? So which function am I going to? I'm going to call last day function. That is the one I'm going to call. Last day. There's a function called last day. And the last day of the hired month, so which means higher date. So I'm going to supply higher date to it. So I'm supplying higher date to it. So that is that. For all employees, now there is a condition. Look at condition. For all employees who have been employed for fewer than 200 months, you see, there is condition. So I will come here. Now, my columns are complete. So let's not go to the front. Let's come here. I'm going to come here. Type from, so from employees. I'm to get that from that table. But there's a condition. That condition will now be where the condition is higher for all employees who have been employed for fewer than 200 months. Who have been for fewer than, so that means number of months. And there is a function that will give us number of months, which is what? Month between. So I will just copy this. I'll just copy this, the whole of this. This is the condition. I'll just copy it. Where month between, right? Fewer than 200. Month between, less than 200. This is our script. This is the script for this question. Let me just bring it down. This question, this question, this is the script for it. So employee ID, hire date, month between, 6 date, hire date, add month, hire date, next day, hire date, Friday. Last, this is the query. This is the query for this question. Let's run it. Error was encountered performing the request. Next day, see, I missed, yeah, next. See, it told me. So it's next day. Now run it again. Can you see? This is our output. Now let's interpret our output. You will see that this output will never give us any month between that is above 200. Look at this one is 194 months, 198 months, 188 months. Those are the people is returning. How do we know? Look at employee ID 104. The date this person was employed was 2007. 2007. So 2007 till date, right? 2007 till date. How many months is it? This is what it's giving you. Now, the person was employed 21 May 2007. 6 month review period will land the person in 21 November 2007. Are you with me? So it means that this person that was employed on this date will be confirmed in November 2007. That is what it's showing you. So confirmation date for each of these employees is what you are looking at. Maybe the manager wanted to know the confirmation date of each employee. This is it. It's showing you here. Now, the first Friday after the hire date, if the employee was employed on the 21st May 2007, if you add, if you look at the next Friday from 21, it will be 25th. That means it means that if 21 was person was employed on the 21 and Friday was 25, it means Thursday will be 24, Wednesday will be 23, Tuesday will be 22. It means person was employed on a Monday. Person resumed work on a Monday. The last day of the hired month was 21 May 2007. So the last day of that month is 31st May 2007. This is basically what we were asked to do. So you can now export this to Excel and then make it look finer and present it to your manager.